All right, this video is about if you believe that you're getting carbon monoxide poisoning in your apartment and what you should do about it. I'm an attorney in California, so I'm going to be talking about California law. If you have any questions about your specific case, visit my website, howelljustice.com, book a free consultation, we'll talk about it. But first, carbon monoxide poisoning is extremely dangerous, and unfortunately, it's also I wouldn't say common, but something that routinely happens in these apartments. And sometimes it's due to things like a faulty heater or some kitchen equipment that is faulty and it's leaking carbon monoxide. You want to look for symptoms like headaches, dizziness, flu-like symptoms, and it's usually affecting everybody in the apartment or everybody in the family. So you want to be on the lookout for those symptoms. You definitely want to seek medical treatment. And you probably, if you feel like it's really strong or dangerous, probably contact 911. Definitely contact the building safety people. And you want to check to see if there are any other indications, like is there a carbon monoxide detector in the apartment? Has it been disabled? Like, why isn't it going off? You want to be checking for things like that. In California, a carbon monoxide detector is required in apartments, but also the landlord is required to maintain the apartment. What that means is that they have to provide appliances, things like a heater and stove, that's in proper working fashion and is not going to hurt you through carbon monoxide poisoning. Landlords have an obligation to the tenants to not be negligent in their management and ownership of the property. So that means that they should not be allowing dangerous conditions on the property. And generally, when you're dealing with a landlord or a property management company, you want to deal with things in writing. So if you suspect that there's a leak of some kind in the apartment, you want to put that in writing so that the landlord or the management company is on notice, because later on the landlord might try to claim, hey, we had no idea, we didn't know this was going to be a problem. You need to be able to show proof that you did tell them it was a problem. But regardless, they do have a duty to ensure that the equipment is working correctly. So if you go to an urgent care or an ER and it turns out that you do have carbon monoxide poisoning, and maybe they do some tests there to confirm that, you want to also document what happened or what you think caused it. So if you noticed when the heater was going, that's typically when you got sick. You want to ensure that someone goes out and inspects that. Ideally, it would be a government entity, like if you call 911, if the fire department will go out and inspect it, or the building safety people, like in California, if you file complaints, they will come out and inspect and issue a notice to the landlord. So you definitely want to do these things to protect your rights when you're dealing with a landlord. You definitely, if you're very seriously injured and you're requiring medical bills, it's chronic, it's something that's going to affect you long-term in the future, because carbon monoxide is extremely dangerous. It can kill you. It can cause brain damage. It can cause all sorts of problems. If you do have a permanent injury from it or a chronic illness as a result of the brain injury or the carbon monoxide poisoning, definitely talk to a lawyer and get an opinion on that. But as part of that, you definitely are going to need to document your injuries. Make sure you go see a doctor about it, and make sure your whole family sees a doctor. So if you have children in the house, sometimes children, it can be hard to know whether they're sick or not, or if they're just tired. It's important to take them to the pediatrician, take them to their doctor, get them evaluated. There was a recent case in Los Angeles where someone was barbecuing outside, but because it was very cold and the landlord did not provide a heater, which they're supposed to do also. The landlord did not provide a working heater, so they brought the charcoal grill inside to provide heat. The landlord also did not have a carbon monoxide tester within the apartment. They ended up becoming very seriously ill. They received a multi-million-dollar verdict from a jury. So that case is an example of how a landlord's negligence ultimately caused very serious injuries to the tenant. Even though the tenant brought the grill inside, they did it for warmth, and there were no detectors and not a working heater in the unit. So that's an example of how these cases can go down if it goes all the way to a jury. If you have any questions or you think that maybe there's carbon monoxide leak in your apartment that's causing you injuries, feel free to reach out to my firm. Thanks.